Hello, welcome back to my channel. This is Preparing for Retirement. My name's Martha, and I am preparing for retirement. So, the subject I want to talk about today is how the process of preparing for retirement can cause a lot of stress in our bodies, and just some things that I'm kind of working through right now. So, for those who may not have heard about it on another video, this whole thing really started for me prior to me giving my notice of retirement. A couple of years ago, I had 3 members of my family that I'm very close to, the 3 closest members of my family, all had cancer at the same time. One person we almost lost, although that person is better now. Another person will live with the cancer for the rest of their life, and the last person is my husband. He is okay, and I thank God every day for that. So that was a very, very stressful year, and on top of that, I was also working what is an extremely stressful job. So it took a toll, and it was one of the reasons why I did decide to retire early. I started to realize that we were able to do this if we retired overseas, and I really just didn't want to wait any longer, because I'd had this. My family had had this brush with death, for an entire year, and it kind of set my priorities straight, is what it did. So I wanted to have the time with my husband. So fast forward, I gave my notice last November, and I really thought that was going to take quite a bit of the stress off of me. Just the act of giving my notice and knowing that now I just had to work it through. And it kind of, I'm not going to say it did the reverse, because some things were made a little bit easier, but what it really did do was it gave me different sorts of stress. So, in the first place, it's real now. So, of course, I'm, working towards a financial goal. Everything looks fine with all the different softwares that I've used and all the spreadsheets I have and everything. We'll be able to do this, but, I'm type A. I'm a planner. I want everything to be under my control. It's not under my control 100%. And so, that's a little bit of stress, the unknown. And then also, I thought that I would have less stress with my job when I gave my notice than I'm actually finding to be the case. And part of that is because I don't have the same motivation to work as I had prior to the giving notice. And that makes me feel guilty. That's kind of the way I'm wired. It makes me feel guilty. I'm still working. I'm not slacking off. But I'm not working to the same degree of intensity that I was before. I'm putting some boundaries down. So that brings guilt. So this whole thing kind of came to a head a couple of weeks ago. I took a blood test for the doctor, annual blood test. I've always been very, very healthy. And I hadn't had a blood test done for a couple of years, and so we figured it was time. I needed to do it. And I have like 20, 30 years of blood work going back. It's always great. And I took the blood test, and what I found was my glucose levels were in the red. My red blood cell count was in the red, and my hematocrit was in the red. So the first thing you do, you go out and you look, and of course the stuff that they talk about that would cause that is the scary stuff. And I'm thinking, no, but I'm very healthy, I don't understand this. And what really confused me is that I eat a very low carb lifestyle. I eat whole foods. I don't eat processed food. I do a lot of fermenting and things like that, and I eat very, very healthy. And so I would not in 100 years have expected to see an elevated glucose or to be pre-diabetic when I'm not eating carbohydrates. I don't eat sugar. I don't eat grains. I haven't for years, really. It's so so occasional that it really just shouldn't even be a blip on the screen. So that was a bit confusing. So I started doing my research, and what I found was that stress can cause all of these things. Stress is associated with an elevated glucose level. It's associated with an elevated red blood cell count, and it's associated with a red hematocrit level. So an elevated hematocrit level, it's in the red. So now I have to try to figure out how in the world I'm going to manage this, take my stress down. And so for the last couple weeks, since I got the blood test result, I've been trying to put more and more boundaries in around my time with the job. So I've turned off the news. I'm very rarely on social media now. It's just too divisive. It causes me stress. I have started taking lunch breaks, which, I always ate over the computer while I continued to work. I just never really put time aside and said, nope, I'm taking a break now. I'm going to go eat in peace. I'm going to read a book, or I'm going to watch something, and take that full break. Never really done that. So I started doing that now. Every day I take a lunch break. I also started closing my computer at 5 o'clock. I am no longer available to the vast majority of my coworkers at 5 o'clock. I am not checking emails on the weekend. There's still a few people that I will be available for, just due to the nature of my job, but it's not going to be to everybody and their grandmother. So anyway, I'm doing all these things to try to manage my stress, because I could have another 10 and a half months worth of work. That's the notice that I have given them, is another 10 and a half months. I'm hoping it doesn't come to that, but if it does, I need to be able to work that through and not have an aneurysm or stroke or anything like that because of the stress levels. So this Saturday, I woke up and I found that there was a new video by one of the channels that I'm subscribed to called To Go Rome. And on this video, which I'll link below, it's a good video. On this video, it was a discussion about how your mind changes after you give notice at your job to retire. How does your mind change? And how do your behaviors change? And, your whole point of view about everything. And, I was so there for this conversation. So, when you give notice, it's basically short timer's disease, but mine's going to go on for a long time. So, I've never really had a filter at work. Not that I'm rude, but in the position I had, I was hired for a specific purpose. And so I was usually, pretty quick to say, hey, I don't think this is a good idea. I don't think you're going to get the desired result that you're looking for. Or no, we need to stop this right here, right now, and I need to take it to legal, or whatever it is. I usually gave my opinion, no problem. And, now, I'll still give my opinion. I think I'm a little bit less careful maybe than I was before, maybe. And then some things, I just look at it and I say, is this the hill I want to die on? Whereas, last year I was dying on that hill all day, every day. So, your mind just kind of, you may have a hard time being motivated to work as hard. You might not be quite so exacting. You're still working hard, but your motivation has definitely lessened. And that's what I'm finding, which brings guilt. When you're type A like me, you feel guilty when you're not, maybe performing to the same level that you know you're capable of, even though it was exhausting, even though you were going to suffer from burnout, you know, from doing it, you still just feel driven to do that. You have like a drive, you're driven. And I would say that that sense of being driven has definitely decreased since I gave my notice. So anyway, Neil was talking about this, and he was talking about different ways that he and his friends around him, other people that he knows, have dealt with that space in between. Because it's a very surreal feeling when, you know, I'm not going to be here. In another few months, I'm just not going to be here. So, you know, like I said, do I need to die on the hill? Does it matter if, you know, this is absolutely perfect, or, you know, is what I've done here going to be sufficient? You know, I still take pride in my work, so I still care, but, you know, do I really want to go to that level of burnout, trying to get everything perfect, that level of stress? Probably not. So he had so many good tips. Some of them I already do, the boundaries I talked about, you know, making sure I take a break. I am able to work my hours I want to work, and so if I feel like I want to exercise in the middle of the day, if I feel like, you know, my mind's wandering, I'm just really not paying attention at this point, I might as well go exercise. I do it now. One of the tips that he had that I was really struck by was, you know, if you're having a really hard time being motivated for that day, then, you know, set a timer for 20 minutes and say, hey, I'm going to work this 20 minutes. I'm going to get stuff done for 20 minutes. I'm going to work at least until I hear the timer. And sometimes you might work longer than that because you might be in the middle of something. And sometimes it may be a struggle to work that full 20 minutes, but you're going to do it. And then you feel better about it. And then you can get up, walk around, go have a snack, go exercise, whatever. And then sit down and set the timer again. And if that's the way that you have to get through your days, then that's the way you're going to do it. The other thing I do, which he had mentioned I'm already doing though, is I try to set myself a goal for every day. I'll get up and I'll say, okay, today, at the very least, I want to get this software installed, or I want to review this request, or I want to get this task or this set of tasks in this project completed. You know, I'll try to set myself a goal every day. So, you know, today I'm going to get this report done and get it distributed. You know, whatever it is, I just try to set myself a goal for that day. And even if it's a small goal, I still feel good about myself if I can get that goal done. So that's important. So I think between the, you know, giving myself permission to take a lunch break or to take breaks during the day, the exercising, you know, setting a timer if I'm really struggling, as well as setting a goal for the day. I think with all those things, it's going to help me to take that stress level down. The last thing I want to talk about is just, this is a real struggle for me. I need to be mindful. The way that I'm wired, it can be very difficult for me to quiet my mind. Very hard for me to quiet my mind. I'm always on to the next project. I'm always multitasking with 15 different things. I've always got this crazy schedule that you're like, oh my gosh, you can't possibly accomplish that. Watch me, kind of thing, you know. I need to take time where my mind is unoccupied. I need to be mindful. I need to be meditative. I need to be prayerful. I need to do all these things. I need to give my mind a chance to decompress. I need to do breathing exercises, give my body a chance to relax. So that is a major stretch for me, and it's going to be something I'm working on. So if you have given notice, or if you've already been through this and you're out the other side and you're retired, and you have some tips or tricks to share, would you please put them in the comments below? I'd love to, you know, this is still all working and wending through my mind, and so I really want to hear, people's advice on this. I want to hear how you guys did it. So, as always, if you like this content, I would ask that you like and subscribe, and we'll just continue to walk through this together. As time passes and as I get closer, and if they have me replaced sooner, then I'll get to retirement sooner. But until then, enjoy a lovely day. Well, I'm in Florida. I'm having a lovely day. I think the rest of the country probably is not. But enjoy the day. Enjoy your Sunday. And get some rest. And God bless. Bye.